Airport upgrade project extends to Wapenamanda in Enga. Villagers mobilize to fix deteriorating roads. And students donate equipment after years of fundraising.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Sunday's news. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill officiated at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Wapenamanda Airport Extension Project. It is a 43 million kina counter-funded project of the Asian Development Bank and the national government under the Civil Aviation Development Investment Program. Vasinatayama reports.
The Wapenamanda Airport Extension project will not be as big as projected due to funding constraints. However, the current runway will be extended and more coulter will be pasted on the runway to have enough strength to carry weights from big planes. The airport's tarmac will be extended for 2 or more planes to park. A new terminal similar to the newly built Kagamuga Airport terminal will be built, and a new vegetable market will be built for spin-off activities. There will be space for small airline companies to be based in Wapenamanda Airport to provide air services to people in the rural areas like Maramun.
Because the space we had to put in balus long airport, so you may walk in all this line open by legally balus you can stop now. All can walk in all this legally ground, you go to Pogra, Kompiam Paila, Ewa, all this large place.
The airport extension project by National Airport Corporation in all the airports in the country is one of the national government's rehabilitation projects to improve the rundown airport infrastructures and facilities to attract business opportunities. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill urged the people of Enga province to put politics aside and look after such development as it will benefit them. Last year, angry supporters of a politician who lost the 2017 national election in the Southern Highlands regional seat burned down an Air Niugini-owned Link PNG plane. Prime Minister said such incident must not happen again to bring business opportunities.
Suppose you got enough money and resources, by enough you may change him country blow me. Suppose you may not grow in economy blow me, country blow you by not grow. By you mean by yet but crossfire go come. Now economy blow you got chance to grow because there's a kind of big projects.
After the completion, strawberries from Surunki Agro Farm and other agriculture businesses will be transported directly and efficiently from Enga to supermarkets nationwide. The national government is committed to upgrading and connecting missing links. Mendi and Tari Airport's extension projects were launched already, including the maintaining of the Orkuk Highlands Highway.
Yes, we got plenty province law, Papua New Guinea, but all projects na blessing were Enga Ximlen and winning plenty of province law Papua New Guinea. That goes to show that Prime Minister law Yumi law country, Peter O'Neill, MSI got trust in the time to land Enga.
Vasinatayama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
2 warlords in Hela province have been charged and imprisoned for being in possession of factory-made guns. These guns were confiscated with 18 other homemade rifles through a joint awareness program led by the PNGDF's 1st and 2nd battalions. These guns were confiscated in a space of 3 months, and the weapons disposal is said to be a major achievement for the Bravo Company of the 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment. The exercise was conducted in the presence of local leaders and government representatives in Tari. The weapons were stripped and disposed by the Delta Company of the 2nd Royal Pacific Islands Regiment operating at the PNG LNG project site. More than 20 residents of Nguvalian village in Ralwana LLG of East New Britain province have rolled up their sleeves to fix their deteriorating roads themselves after realizing that the much talked about government service delivery at the ward level won't come anytime soon. Nguvalian village is one of many villages situated along the Kokopo-Rabaul road that suffered from flash flooding caused by torrential rains in the province in the past few months.
This is what the Kokopo-Rabaul road looks like on a good weather, and this is how it looks when it rains heavily. Most of the villages situated along this section of the road have been affected by flash floods that damaged most of their feeder roads leading into their villages. Like anywhere else in the country, all eyes are always on the government to deliver the services the people need. But here at Nguvalian village, a few kilometers out of Kokopo town, the people are resilient. They are using their own resources to make their impassable roads become accessible again.
So now,
Elisa Warur, a villager, says they won't wait for the government to fix their roads, they have to fix it themselves.
now can we start straightening road, bring him service can go inside all people this ward.
Most of the people here say the road to their villages is in a bad condition and they find it very difficult to transport cargoes for their trade stores and accessing health and education services for their children. Some have to walk several kilometers before reaching the main road to catch a PMV to Kokopo and Rabaul town. Along this stretch of road, you get a sense of how the talk about delivering government services to the ward level appears to be so far from reality on the ground.
People only step inside, all need to look go inside roti go inside all people inside the place. Need look mouse roti go inside one areas one place.
The road issues have prompted village elders here to create a group to represent their people with an aim of sourcing help from donor agencies other than the provincial and national government. They want to source funding to buy water tanks to address the issue of flash floods which they say are being created by houses that have no proper catchment to collect rainwater in villages situated further up the valley.
Only given belong halivin people belong me 21 wards between Relwan and LLG. Long this time when people are facing this big disaster.
The move to establish the group and address the issues of flash floods in their area comes a few months ahead of the much anticipated local level government elections. Many still remain skeptical if the election of the third tier of government will bring any tangible developments. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Fresh produce vendors who sell their goods next to the Gordon's bus stop in a busy part of the National Capital District say they have no other place to sell their produce. The group says while the new Gordon's vegetable market is still under construction, they will continue to sell their produce near the bus stop even though they are at risk of being run over by vehicles or have their goods stolen by criminals. Tekla Gunga reports.
If you pass through the Gordon's bus stop, this is a daily scene. Vendors, especially mothers, sell their vegetables on the side of the busy bus stop. They say they do not have any place else to market their produce but here. In one day, at least 50 to 70 mothers come here to sell, despite knowing that they can easily be run over by a PMV bus or get sick because of the blocked sewage that spills through this area.
Also, mibla ken mibla kam no gatablo mibla bago market. So mibla stable here mibla waiting market Gordon's market masop na mibla bago inside.
Since the construction of the new Gordon's market, many vendors have found it difficult to sell their produce at a safe location. The fresh produce vendors at 9 Mile, just outside Port Moresby, face a similar situation. They also market their produce just on the side of the highway leading into Laloki in the Central Province.
So mipla olkata mama loya ose ebi wari blo mipla like him ose member na governor mas look sawelo kutuan pla good pla proper market lo mipla ol mama lo 9 Mile because mipla no sirang good now yet mipla ko sirang are lo road na market na I'm not safe too because car anytime bakam accident them sa happen are lo road.
There are times these vendors have been asked to go to the Boroko vegetable market to sell their produce, but they say the space is limited and they need to make ends meet.
To man blow me blood sample in a walk. Me blood sour blood slap market. Inside me blood market gone or else me blood time. Me blood go for mile one map. And me blood no a space lab. All in stop all stop finish. So me blood all walk around me blood. Some lily cap corner lo arelo road or one me blood no busy lo carbo crooked me blood all rice call bagam. Only me blood slam me blood no busy me blood in live blow me blood and me blood stop sana para straight na only kaya blow me blood and me blood market. Police rouse me blood one me blood to you no busy me blood run go na me blood come again na me blood sana. Na me blood all piggy me blood to lo lands money na school fee na uniform slan now. Me blood still work lo sana biet na market yet.
Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Motokoitabu villagers are expected to stand with the clan members from Baruni to fight a notice to quit, which was issued last Monday. Issued through the National Lands Department, this notice means the villagers must vacate their traditional land and pull down any infrastructure erected on the piece of land in dispute. But Baruni villagers say they are not going anywhere because they are residing on their land.
The area in dispute has over 500 villages, originally from Baruni, who have come to settle here since the 1970s to look after their customary land, where they use for gardening, hunting and fishing. According to earlier land surveys, the two pieces of land in dispute are portions 2196 and portion 3593.
Okay, so eviction notice will give, that's the second one will come give him now for two different portions. Okay, kind of say me talk me been talking more lands officer me talking about them. This is not a settlement or squatters come sit down there. This time a more traditional land or papa ground come sit down on this ground. Now suppose people can make him out carry him out this kind exercise there. You are supposed to carry out awareness past them. Advise him online of place. One is something come up now. Because all people do meeting was M ground bongol. Now sit down on them stop, now come, now talking more 14 days. All give more 14 days, that's all up. Or by victim this perhaps. Is that how by you treat him? Or natives or traditional landowners?
Last Monday, a team of officers from the National Lands Department, including police, went to Borehoho and Veasidaha villages located behind Gero State 7 in the Mosby Northwest electorate and served the notice to quit. The landowners were surprised to receive the notice and learned that an international company showed interest to purchase their traditional land. They have engaged lawyers to help them fight the case in court.
I can tell you that we will be fighting this case. We will fight against people who do not have proper documentation to just come in, and one small paper. It's one over here. Well, it says Oswald Tolopa, Acting Secretary for Lands, signing this notice to quit under Section 145, and we will be fighting this piece of paper.
In a survey conducted in 2002, the area in dispute was not included as part of state land. However, in the 2014 land survey, the villagers say their customary land was included as part of state land. And this has confused the landowners because they claim there was no dialogue regarding their land with any government authorities.
Port edition and show him what's them all. Now I'm state land. You know that one plabungi come up na melo landowners, Lands Department, lo clarify.
Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Yeah, with National EMTV News, medical students carry on their tradition of giving to help others. We'll have that story and more when we come back. Welcome back to National EMTV News. If saving lives is not enough, doctors in the making at the UPNG Medical School have been practicing a tradition of giving back to the Port Moresby General Hospital. Each year, final year students purchase needed equipment for the hospital after fundraising for 4 years. We caught up with second, third and final year MBBS students to find out more about this fundraising tradition.
medical school, doctors in the training, and the last thing you would think they have the time for in their busy schedule is fundraising.
MBBS is a very tough course, so we have two clinical aspects to it, and then the theory. And theory we covers it like 3/4 of the time when you're doing your second and third year. Well, when you come to fourth year, you are being introduced to the clinical setting and all that. So you'll be running here and there, trying to get familiarized with the program. When you're in fifth year like me, well, most of the time, you'll just wake up and then you're there in the ward. Only maybe lunch, or you can skip lunch, or you can come back maybe late in the afternoon, and then you go back down for on calls. So that's how busy it is.
They believe it's for a good cause, as only a few students fully participate, while some prioritize their studies. The tradition is too old for them to remember in what year it began.
Who sent us to school to study for medicine, but then they're saying, why are you wasting time raising funds for this, that you should be studying. But it's good that we study, but we have to also know that the people down at the hospital, they are not paid by the school to teach us. So as much as possible, we should try to give back in any way we can. So this is, as students, we're trying to give back. This is our way of saying thank you for teaching us over the 5 years. So basically, that's what we're trying to achieve by the end of year 5.
The medical equipments purchased are based on what the final year medical students see as a need during their hospital rotations at Port Moresby General Hospital.
We have assessed that over our years, over the course of years that we've been here. So we are basically buying we are not specialized, buying any equipment specialized to a particular ward, but we are just, my year, we are just buying equipments for all the disciplines. So the basic ones, which are really in need in such hospitals and also other outside areas too, like wheelchairs. So we're going to buy 2 wheelchairs for each discipline, so a total of 8. We'll buy a pediatric infusion pump, cost around 10 grand down there, a pediatric infusion pump. We'll also buy nebulizers, aerosol nebulizers for ED, emergency ED. We'll get glucometer and glucose test strips. Those are vitally important for each ward.
Each year, there is a different fundraising for years 2, 3, and 4.
Our webpage there, so you guys could go there to see the account details for each year and to see where you guys can donate if people want to donate. Yes, and for the Air Force, we're doing a Rafael ticket, and the prizes to be won are a laptop, a printer, and some flash drives.
The third year we are doing fundraising as well. So our aim for this year is to raise 20,000, and next year and for fourth year and fifth year we have different names. But for this year we have to raise 20,000. So we booked Paradise Cinema for a movie night, of which a ticket we sell for 50 kina.
The public can assist by purchasing tickets for the students' fundraisers and can find details on the medical students' Facebook page. Adelaide Sirokskari, National, EMTV News.
The Sinners Saved by Grace Ministries International Outreach Program, conducted by the Papua New Guinea Bible Church, has done a wonderful job in bringing the gospel and word of God into the lives of inmates currently at the Bomana prison. Michelle Stephen with the details.
It has been 9 months since the outreach program, headed by President Pastor Simon Kuman, began. So far, his calling from God to do an outreach program has reached out to other members of his church, and he currently has 12 active members.
Change normally takes place inside, and the only thing that will transform a person inside is through Word of God. And then I can see that there's a potential there. That's, as a young man, I see that it's something that I need to, do as a workman of God, to try to bring the Word of God into their lives, so that the Word itself can change them and transform them, and then they can be a better people in our country.
Pastor Simon says his ministry has reached out to prisoners, sick people, and people on the street. Pastor Simon also has a fish project in Mount Again at Togoba, where former drug addicts are offering their services.
We started up a fish farming project for the ministry. We call it it's fish ministry underneath this ministry organization. So there's a couple of people working over there, and then I think there's several people got converted recently, and they're going to church.
In the Sinner Save program, Pastor Simon was able to reach out to Tal Bury, an ex-prisoner from Bomana jail. Bury says life in prison is very challenging, but when he joined the ministry, it has greatly changed his life.
I've come to know this ministry, Sinner Saved by Grace Ministry International. Right now I am with the pastor. I've seen so many good things through my life when transformations being taken place. And now today I am ready. I am ready to go back to the prison to tell them about the truth in this ministry and God.
The program is carried out on fortnight Sundays, where they bring food, toiletries and clothes to the prisoners. There are plans to run a rehabilitation program. The rehabilitation program is mainly about how to live a life after prison. Michelle Stephen, National EMTV News.
During the APTC graduation held last Friday, Australian High Commissioner to PNG, Bruce Davis, announced a labour mobility track program that enables Papua New Guineans with technical skills to apply to study in Australia for a number of years. The program is still in its early stage, but all parties are working closely with the Australian High Commission to ensure it is implemented.
First and foremost, I would just like to...
This labour mobility track program will enable Papua New Guineans with existing technical skills and those who have graduated from APTC programs to study in Australia for a number of years. APTC Country Director Brad Shaw says now that Papua New Guinea has come on board the labour mobility scheme, a lot of work has to be done with the Australian High Commission and PNG's Employment Division. He added that they will be conducting gap trainings to get Papua New Guineans with existing skills into the labour mobility program.
There's a labour mobility track now for students, so they can go into a labour mobility track where they can go and study in Australia for up to 2 to 3 years and then come back to Papua New Guinea.
Since the labour mobility program includes APTC graduates, the country director was asked if APTC plans to offer diploma courses as well. Mr. Shaw responded saying there are bilateral programs like Australian award scholarships that people can apply to get their diplomas.
Australia Awards, who offer scholarships for people to do diplomas and the like, and masters programs and degree programs in Australia. So at the moment we're really focusing on pre-vocational.
The director added that APTC will model a range of other pre-vocational programs leading to trade qualifications as well as other industries across the country.
Whilst our focus is on immediate employability outcomes, and that's why we're going the other way and opening the doors up for pre-vocational, we see that as a target group to get some real employability outcomes for students.
Patricia Chiamo, National EMTV News.
Turning overseas now, ever wondered what sharks do when no one is watching? Well, now we know. Scientists have attached cameras to great white sharks and they've been rather surprised by what they've captured.
In shark-infested South African waters, a rare glimpse of the dance between predator and prey. A great white shark hunting fur seals in a part of the ocean that was thought beyond reach.
We knew that the seals would take refuge in kelp forest when there were sharks around, but we didn't know that the sharks would go in after them.
For the first time, scientists have captured the predators in dense kelp forests from a shark's eye view. The long seaweed provides little resistance for a fish that can weigh over a ton. The seals blow bubbles to obscure the shark's vision, but it presses on in pursuit of its prey.
What we can actually see from the footage is that they're actually really agile and they're quite good at navigating through and, where necessary, strong enough to push right through.
Great whites remain mysterious creatures despite being objects of fascination and fear. Their behaviour revealed as never before by cameras and sensors carefully fitted after the sharks were lured in by fake seals and bait.
The tags themselves are also a bit like a Fitbit, so we can tell lots of information on the energetics of the animals too. We're really hoping to grow a global data set on these animals.
Technology literally scratching the surface. In future, they'll track sharks into the depths.
Still to come on National EMTV News, a closer look. This Sunday, we take a closer look at Port Moresby sewage system upgrade to address a growing metropolitan city. Stay tuned for the details. Welcome back to the news. The government of Papua New Guinea, supported by the government of Japan, has delivered the upgrading of the Joyce Bay sewage treatment plant through the Port Moresby sewage system upgrading project at a cost of 410 million kina. The main focus is on improving the health and sanitation of people residing along the urban coast of the National Capital District. With this new state-of-the-art facility, raw sewage can be treated properly before it is disposed into the sea. Michelle Stephen reports for tonight's A Closer Look.
There are three main sewage ponds in Port Moresby: the Waigani, Morata and Geru ponds. These ponds were constructed in the early 60s and 70s. With the increase in population and rapid influx of people from the rural areas into Port Moresby, the capital city now has a population of over 800,000 people. This calls for a proper upgrade and brand new sewage treatment facilities to treat sewage. With this in mind, the government resolved to building this multi-million kina treatment plant that will receive sewage from Konidobu, Town, Togoba Hill, Paga Hill, Ella Beach, Koki, Badili, Gabutu, Sabama, Kaugere and Kilakila areas. The plant is the first mechanical facility in the country, converting raw sewage waste into clean byproducts. Constructions of Joyce Bay began around April of 2016 and was officially inaugurated on Friday, the 29th of March this year. During the inauguration ceremony, Minister for State Enterprise William Dumas said, without doubt, the capital city is experiencing a major influx of rural to urban migration with an increase in socio-economic activities.
The city now has a population of more than 800,000 people. This has put a lot of pressure on one of our most vital infrastructures in the city, and that of course is the sewage system, where substantial increase in the volume of untreated effluent was being discharged into the city over the years.
Minister Dumas says the Port Moresby sewage system upgrading project, or POMSUP in short, is aligned to PNG government's natural water, sanitation and hygiene policy, or the WASH policy, which was formulated to provide the framework to substantially improve access to clean water and sanitation services to change the hygiene behaviors of people. The project will help properly treat waste before releasing it into the sea, and in the process help protect the fragile marine ecosystem as well as the health of the people living along the Motuan coastline.
This multi-million kina project will have a long-term positive imprint on the marine ecosystem. One, as you all know, is heavily reliant upon for fish and other marine resources along the city's southern catchment area and the low-lying villages of our Motuan coastline, and further protection guaranteed for generations to come.
The new facility is expected to provide an avenue for locals in the area to venture into business and money-making activities.
Most of the developments we have seen in this part of the city especially, and particularly to do with this very important project, the POMSUP project, would not have become possible. Thank you, Badaherea. I hope that when this project reaches its full capacity and begins to do what it's supposed to do, then hopefully our people along these areas will be able to take part in meaningful
Locals in Joyce Bay also said that since the project started, they were able to set up trade stores to supply goods to the employees of the facility, while vendors also capitalized on the opportunities.
Market number here. Plenty all work line.
The ambassador of Japan to PNG, Satoshi Nakajima, said this project has come a long way to be finally completed thanks to the many partners. The ambassador says the sewage treatment plant is the first of its kind in the whole of the Pacific region, with a capacity of treating thousands of cubic of waste a day that in turn benefits 1/3 of the population. Ambassador Satoshi believes the project will substantially improve the environment sanitary for people's livelihood and enhance Port Moresby's image for tourism by offering non-polluted clean coastlines.
It was during the APEC meeting that the two prime ministers, Papua New Guinea and Japan, acknowledged the completion of this project at the bilateral meeting held at the APEC House. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was very pleased to see some of the completed pump stations for this project near the APEC House, although he regretted very much not having time to visit this sewage treatment plant.
It was also shared by the locals that the contractors have brought a lot of development into the area.
The pipe, I think 16-meter outfall out that way to Manubara. There's a very nice walkway out that way. So there's footpath, people can go and exercise in the afternoons. They can also, every weekend now everybody's busy. I think most of the people, they don't go around to Ella Beach now, they come around here.
Since the project started, big development. Also only bring him roti come power to. Apart from this little story, me play no power. Otherwise, road only improve him good road.
They brought the pipe right up there and they fixed our Joyce Bay, so we are happy. We followed the contact on cement wall goal on sea. So we are just developing place, so we are all happy.
We have 2 access roads into Joyce Bay, which is the last place actually here. And it's been quite a while since we had any development in here. So hopefully this change. This project will give it will be a change agent for this community.
The youths in the area were also given the opportunity to work with the contractor. The project was implemented by Kumul Consolidated Holdings in liaison with Enoranu, who are currently managing and operating the treatment plant. Speaking during the opening ceremony, Kumul Consolidated Holdings Managing Director Darren Young said the scope involves the construction of a trunk sewer pipeline at a total length of 12.8 kilometers, construction of branch sewer networks at a total length of 13.7 kilometers, and the construction and rehabilitation of 13 sewage pumping stations. Young said all this will be used to discharge sewage from households safely into the ocean.
The new sewage treatment plant here at Joyce Bay is where all the raw sewage will be fully treated using an oxidation treatment process capable of processing 18,400 million litres of raw sewage per day, and that treated effluent which is discharged safely via a 1.6 kilometre pipeline to the sea.
POMSA updates back to December 2009 when both governments signed an exchange of notes. This was done to JICA's concessional loan of up to 8.2 billion Japanese yen, which is approximately 275 million kina. In nearly approaching its end, the project has achieved a lot so far. JICA's chief representative Takashi Toyama says the Joyce Bay facility has some of the most advanced Japanese technologies that have been highly anticipated. JICA also provided the technical and maintenance for the facility.
We have the long way to this stage, the completion of the project. your government had just successfully completed official inauguration ceremony last Friday.
Facilities like this cost billions of kina, but thanks to the Japanese and PNG governments, this facility was built. This multi-billion kina facility is now serving its purpose for the city residents. Michelle Stephen, National EMTV News.
Here with National EMTV News is Sunday. Trukai Sports is up next. The Dwellers lose in football and the Hunters lose for the 5th time. Not good results, but we'll tell you more after these messages.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with football, and the Lae City Dwellers lost 4-0 to Auckland City yesterday in the OFC Champions League. 9-time champions Auckland City FC have become the first team to book their place in the OFC Champions League 2019 semi-finals.
In a grey and rainy Auckland day, the hosts started patiently holding possession to control the tempo of the game. Lae City's well-organised defence pressed high to stop Auckland's attacking ambitions, while also showing plenty of promise on the counter as Nigel Dabinyaba and captain Raymond Gunemba kept linking up at the other end. With the game developing in an evenly contested match, Auckland's Papua New Guinea international David Brown found himself at the end of a perfectly executed through ball from Mario Bonsumaro. Lae City coach Peter Gunemba made a couple of half-time changes to get back into the game, but he was left to rue his players' lack of concentration after the restart as Brown grabbed his second following a wonderful individual run and a well-taken drive straight from kickoff. Auckland scored their third goal in the 78th minute of the match, extending their lead to 3-0. David Brown put the icing on the cake for Auckland by grabbing his hat-trick with a sublime shot from the edge of the box in the 87th minute. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
The Rugby League and the SPPNG Hunters lost 24 points to 6 to the North Devils at Bishop Park in Brisbane yesterday. This is the SP Hunters' 5th straight loss, and they currently sit last on the Intra-Super Cup ladder. Though the Hunters showed promising signs, scoring first, the Devils fought back, scoring 4 tries to win that match. The SP Hunters will now have to regroup to face the Central Queensland Cuppers next weekend. Trukai Sports continues with more after these messages. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Still in Rugby League, the pre-season 9s tournament for the Port Moresby Suburban League ended on Saturday, with Walia claiming the grand final crown and 1,000 kina in prize money after defeating the Mountain Bulls 10 points to 4.
It was a dry and sunny day with a modest crowd gathered around the Coney Tigers Oval. Palm Suburban faithful on hand to witness the pre-season 9th grand final. A long-time team in the Rugby League circles of Port Moresby, Walia, came in with their banner ready to take on the Mountain Bulls. Walia went in as favourites for the match, but also guilty of drop balls. But defensively, Walia kept the Bulls outside of the try line. The Bulls ran back Walia, even getting them out of uniform. Walia's dummy half runs and short passes ensured some good meters for the team. The Mountain Bulls tried to get their act together, but it didn't play out well, bumping into their own. With the Bulls unorganized, Walia picked up a crucial try. An easy conversion taking them to a 6-0 lead into half-time. The Bulls came back strong in the second half, ramming into the Walia attack. Driving them back, hurting them. Bulls' defensive efforts gifted with a try. Closing the margin to 6 points to 4, but Walia extended their lead with this classy try. The Bulls looked to score but had difficulty holding on to possession. Walia coming out eventual winners. Mountain Roosters finished third and received 400 kina. Runners-up, the Mountain Bulls, received 600 kina, while the winners, Walia, went home with 1,000 kina cash. Chairman of Port Moresby Suburban League, Boski Koke, confirmed that the season for the teams will kick off next week, Saturday.
2 weeks ago, we have played pool games, now all semi-finals finished. Today, we played on the grand final. We kicking off proposition 2019 season. We play triple divisions, where we play all under 20, all senior men, all women in league. We play starting Morgata round 1 next week Saturday.
Fidelis Sukina, National, MTV Sports.
A month-long sporting program in the 4-mile suburb in Leh has resulted in a temporary drop in criminal activities, according to local leaders. The sporting competition for rugby league and volleyball involves 32 teams, and organisers say it has brought together the community members in a big way.
Community leaders say for the past month they've seen a marked drop in serious crimes. And that may be only for a short while, but many people here say it's progress.
We play improve. We simply play accomplish. Plenty all mangive sabru, bring more lombia and cut down.
Teams from neighbouring suburbs are also participating. It's a small competition, but the community leaders are seeing a short-term result and are encouraged by the greater feeling of community. This area has a bad name, and part of that image comes from their portrayal in the media, and part of it is because serious crimes actually happen here on a regular basis. The community is sensitive to the perceptions, and for years leaders have tried to counter that image. This competition is a small step, and they've seen a drop in alcohol-related violence this month, and they hope it'll continue. Scott Whitey, National MTV News, Leh.
And that ends True Kai Sports. We'll have the weather details for the next 24 hours when we return.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
I'll look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, rain and showers expected in Port Moresby, Alotau and Popondetta. Cloudy weather for Daru and Kerema. To the Momasa region, rain and showers in Leh, Wau and Madang. Cloudy weather with some rain expected in Wewak. Showers and thunderstorms in Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, cloudy weather and some showers expected in Lorangau, Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka. Rain and showers in Kimbe and showers and thunderstorms in Kavieng. And in the Highlands region, all the major centres, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundia, Mendi and Wabeg can expect rain and showers over the next 24 hours with morning fog clearing. There is a renewal of a strong wind warning issued by the Papua New Guinea Weather Service for all coastal waters of Yule Island to Hood Point, Aroma Coast to Samarai Island, to Misima Island to Sud-Est and Rossel Islands, including the Coral Sea. Strong southeasterly surge of 25 to 34 knots are expected to continue for the next 24 hours, causing rough seas. All small craft and boats are advised to take the necessary precautions before and after going out to sea. I'll look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. Waters of Yule Island to Hood Point to Samarai Island to Misima Island to Sud-Est and Rossel Islands is 2 to 3 meters. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerema, Yule Island, and with waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, and waters of Finchafen through VTS and Dampier Strait to Siasi Island to Long Island, and waters of Long Island to Medang, Bogia, Wewak, Aitape, Vanimo, and the northern PNG Indonesian border, and waters of Manus and its western group of islands, waters of East New Britain to West New Britain, and waters of New Ireland to New Bougainville, sea 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Samarai Island to Cape Vogel to Finchafen, sea 0.5 to 1.5 meters. And a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea sees moderate to rough with southeasterly winds at 20 to 34 knots. Solomon Sea sees slight to moderate with clockwise winds tending at 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Sea sees slight with northwesterly tending clockwise winds at 10 to 15 knots. And the Pacific Ocean sees slight with northwesterly winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that has been the news, sport and weather for today, Sunday, the 7th of April. On behalf of the entire MTV News team, have a pleasant working week. Pleasant viewing on MTV this evening. Good night.